Hey guys, I'm Crazy Za, and in this video I want to walk you through how I went from making art like this 6 years ago to this. Now guys, there's plenty of people who have been doing art for a long period of time but maybe just haven't reached the heights that they've wanted to reach yet. So in this video, I want to walk you through my whole journey so that you can benefit and learn to improve quickly as well, regardless of where you are in your journey currently. And also, I'm making this to tell you to not give up. These days, I've taught thousands of people as well as built plugins for Blender used by many people. I've been consulted by some producers, and I'm even building my own lean studio right now. That aside, let's get into the beginning of my art journey now, which actually at first didn't even start with Blender. It started with 2D art and in high school. See, growing up, I was a kid who just loved visual things. I started out by creating really crappy 2D animations like this just for fun.
Hey man, you're looking quite tasty today.
And though I always loved visual things, I always told myself this one belief whenever I saw amazing art or animation. Oh, that would be too hard for me, I could never do that. And so for many years, I just never really grew at all. I continued making these silly animations, just me voice acting them myself, but eventually, one day my high school friends found out about the channel. I was nervous about what they'd think, but they actually loved it. The idea of me, who was overall just this quiet kid making these crazy, funny, stupid animations, just seemed to appeal to everybody for some reason. And this feedback led me into my second era of making animations. This time, it wouldn't be just me voice acting the characters, it would be my high school classmates as well. So I'd continue working on these dumb animations, and every 3 weeks or so, I'd release a new one. And it would always be a big moment for me to see how my friends and classmates would react to it. Each release really felt like a big deal to me, and I'd kind of get like a rush of excitement every time that I'd post. Now look, I wasn't the popular kid or anything like that, but those who saw my stuff loved it and found it hilarious, which was just amazing to me. And honestly, reminiscing on those times is quite fond, but the thing is, there's actually something kind of dark behind all of this. So I actually grew up in a household that was pretty messed up. I had like an evil stepmother issue, and making art like this was just kind of like one of the ways that I used to cope with it and kind of escape, if that makes sense. Thinking back, it was actually pretty crazy. I'd be on Sapphire, which was the software I'd use at the time. I didn't use Blender currently, I was using something called Sapphire, and I'd be making these dumb animations while at the same time worried about if she's like stomping past my room, if she's gonna like barge in and go crazy. It was just like a whole thing. And you know, that being said, even though I was in this messed up household with all these issues, nothing, and I mean nothing, really beat the nightly creative escape while listening to music and talking to my friends while everyone was asleep. Anyways, the reason why I'm telling you about this kind of high school era of me making art is because it was important for me, as it eventually culminated in me wanting to do something more with this. It led to me eventually starting what I like to call my third era of my art journey, which was, and still is, an era of growth and improvement. So how did this era start? Well, basically, I was actually just going to bed one night and I had a realization, and this isn't glamorous at all, but I really just thought to myself, why not just become good at this? It was almost like just like a random revelation, nothing glamorous, I can't really explain it in any other way. But I think ultimately it just stemmed from my desire to ultimately grow as an artist and long-term become something amazing. And from then on, I actually started to try learning the fundamentals. My works would still have me and my classmates voice acting, but I started to actually incorporate better animation into it. Now obviously my first attempts at this were not good to say the least. But hey, no one's a master at first try. I didn't give up though, I continued making animations like this, gradually upping the quality, and definitely saw some significant improvement in myself. But eventually, times do change, and so does your life. So around this time in my art journey, school was ending and my interests were changing and just becoming more broad in general. And when I say general, I just started doing more artistic stuff in general. I kind of dabbled in things like background painting, some character sketching and stuff like that as well. But throughout this period, there was eventually one day where I decided to learn this free 3D software called Blender. Now, I had heard all of these things about Blender being hard and it's like a spaceship to learn and all of that, but I was in my learning and growing era, so I kind of just ignored all of that stuff and locked in. Funny enough, the reason I learned it was that I thought it could help with my backgrounds, and I actually didn't really plan on going deep with the software at all, which is absolutely crazy thinking about how far I've come since then and what I'm doing now. By the way guys, I have a complete beginner tutorial on this channel which you should definitely check out because it'll introduce you to all the stylized art and Blender fundamentals even if you have no prior experience. And of course I also have other tutorials on this channel where you can level up your skills, which is pretty cool. Okay guys, before we go any further, I just want to talk a little bit about my masterclass. If you're someone who's been trying to learn Blender but doesn't have a clear path, this is a program that will teach you my entire workflow for making things like anime style characters, beautiful scenes, and just amazing stylized art in general. It's one of the only comprehensive curriculums on this that exists, and is suitable both for beginners as well as people who are more experienced and want to level up their stylized art skills, or just become a better 3D artist in general. We focus both on technical skills as well as observational skills, meaning technical skills as in how to use Blender efficiently, as well as the observational skills of design and stuff like that, because without that your art is going to look flat no matter how well you can use Blender. So if you're interested in joining me and hundreds of other students, you can check it out on ukiogirls.io. Okay, back to the video. Okay, now look, at this point in my life things weren't too bad, and for a while I was just kind of continuing to make random Blender projects and art in general. But one thing I wanted that I didn't yet have was that for a while I had actually wanted to grow a social media audience, which was one of my biggest dreams with my art, but just wasn't really having any luck with that for quite a while. One day though, after consistently leveling up and trying to post for quite a while, my Blender work started to gain traction on Instagram as well as YouTube. Now look, even though then I wasn't as good as I am now, this started giving me motivation to improve even more. And I want to be extremely clear here guys, growing wasn't some like overnight easy thing to do. I remember there would be times I'd spend like 20 hours on a work and it would get like 5 likes, and those 5 likes would be people that I knew in real life. And I had to endure this for like over 2 years actually. So if you're someone who's maybe not where you want to be yet, this is your sign to keep going. You just have to break through, and that's going to be inevitable as long as you keep on practicing and don't give up. But regardless, at this point in my art journey, I realized the best thing to do would be to just go all in on 3D in Blender, as it seemed to give me the best return on my time spent as I started receiving opportunities and stuff like that which I had always wanted. So that's exactly what I did. I doubled down on making more and more 3D projects, more and more Blender projects and stuff. And from here on out, I kind of just rapidly improved. I created add-ons even, which are now used by thousands of people, taught a bunch of people, and my life overall changed at this point. And okay, that escalated quickly, but now let's talk about something really important, which is what I actually did to improve quickly throughout these years. Now, my overall strategy was ultimately to focus on doing projects that upped the bar gradually. See, the reason a lot of people don't improve is they'll become good at one thing and then kind of stay in their comfort zone after that. Maybe they become good at making something like really simple, but then they never up the game after that by incorporating more stuff. For example, I used to make a lot more simple animations like this, but I don't really do that as much anymore. Why? Because I'm already good at that, so I upped the bar gradually by adding other elements over time like animals, characters, stuff like this as well. This forced me to improve my skills in modeling, texturing, concept design, character design, animating as well, and all of these different skills I had to improve because I started incorporating more and more complex things. And these days, I've even started hiring some of my masterclass members to push myself to be more of a director and become a better leader as well. Which of course causes me some discomfort, but it also results in tremendous growth in myself. So this is how you improve quickly overall, and it applies to anything in life. You just put yourself in a little bit of discomfort and then that forces growth. So doing this helped me to reach the skill level that I always wanted, but obviously to this day I'm still constantly improving and becoming better, as it's a never-ending journey. And alright, so at this point we're pretty far into the journey, but let me be honest guys, it wasn't always completely smooth. There were many projects that didn't turn out the way that I wanted, and I had nights where I even questioned whether or not I wanted to continue at times. Stuff like that can hurt, but it's also why you have to realize that these failures are just part of the process. Even though it may suck in the moment, it's because of stuff like that and learning from it that helped me to improve and become way better in the future. Honestly, at least for a while, you have to forget all of that caring too much about external validation and what people think of your art and stuff like that, because the real metric of success is growing bit by bit, and eventually it's going to be inevitable that you get noticed. So this is a very interesting question. I would say it makes me feel good overall, whether it be in my day-to-day life working on projects that push me to the next level, or helping both hobbyists and professionals around the world become better, which is like extremely fulfilling for me, or growing my social medias, I genuinely do enjoy this. And yeah, of course I still feel that growing pains of improving, but it's always worth it in the end. I suppose ultimately if you want something, then the universe tests you inevitably to see whether you're actually about it or not. So I'll end this video by saying forget everyone who says to not think about your dreams or chase them at all. Of course, don't drop everything and do that. I mean, I myself was studying and working when I started, but there's always a way to both chase your dreams and do all of that stuff too. And anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. And if you're interested in learning more about my process, check out this recent video I posted. The link is in the description.